to Power Girl Nutrition. Today, my mom, who has worked as a dietitian for 15 years, will help me organize and prepare 7 different breakfasts to help you start your day right.
Okay, Jessy, now we're going to make our Body Smart bread pudding. I love bread pudding, and this is a fantastic breakfast, but it also can be used as a snack or even a dessert. So this recipe you're really going to want to pay attention to. And you can make your own variations on what you might want to put into this bread pudding. Bread pudding historically is actually really not so good for you because it's usually made with white bread and lots of sugar. But you better know that Jessy and I have got a special twist on this one, and it's healthy and good for you, Power Girl. Okay, so to start off, we are going to be heating up some milk, some yogurt, and some coconut oil on the stove. So Jessy, do you want to grab the milk? Now we are using almond milk, but you can use whatever milk is your preference. And how much do we have there, Jessy?
We have a cup and a half.
Okay, so you want to put that in? Okay, and next we have half a cup of yogurt, and we tend to really like Greek yogurt in this house because of how much protein is in it. So we've got some Greek yogurt going in next. Okay, Jessy, I'm going to be giving you some coconut oil next. One thing about coconut oil, you can see that it actually looks like a butter. It's solid at room temperature, and of course when you heat it, it will melt down to an oil. And again, remember, you want to include some healthy fats in your diet every day. And so here we have 1.5 tablespoons of coconut oil. And Jessy, I'm just going to give you a spoon over here. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to heat this up on very low heat. Careful, sweetie. You don't want to get this to boil. Your goal here is just to heat it through, okay? And we're gonna be stirring this up. Let's make sure we get something to stir with. There you go, Jess. Okay, so you can keep an eye there. Tell me when the coconut oil is melted. So she's just stirring that. One thing I do want to mention right now is that this recipe does take a little bit of time. However, you can actually do the preparation for this recipe in the evening and then just put it in the oven in the morning. And remember, this recipe can be used for desserts and snacks, so it really is worth the effort. Okay, so you can't see what's going on back there, but basically all those ingredients are just getting warmed up. Okay, so our mixture is warmed up right now. Jessy, what I want you to add is a 1/4 cup of raisins. You can also use currants, whatever your preference may be. Okay, so Jessy's going to add that, and now we're going to just give it one last stir, Jessy. The currants are going to warm through as well, and we can just leave this now and turn it off and just set this aside. We'll get back to that later. Okay, next step, we need our blender. Okay, and let's get the ingredients for the blender. So, for this part of the recipe, we have 2 whole eggs, and we've already scrambled them up. Okay, Jess, you want to add the 2 whole eggs in? Sure. And we have 4 egg whites. Super. 3 tablespoons of applesauce, right there, Jess. Great. Again, notice we're using applesauce as a sweetener in this, and we have some fruit, so we don't need to add any extra sugar. That's what makes this Power Girl clean eating way to have bread pudding. Okay, now we are going to add the zest of half a lemon. This is the zest right here. For some of you who may be unfamiliar with how to zest a lemon, basically what you do is you get your grater box and you use the edge of your grater box. It's going to give you a fine product. Okay, so you'd also use this if you're ever grating hard cheeses. And this is basically what you're going to get. That's your zest. And so for half a lemon, we're going to add that in. Need another spoon, Jess?
I think I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Now we really only want to mix that through just slightly. You don't want to really overblend it. You just want to make sure that all those ingredients get mixed in together. Okay, that's probably good. Okay. And now we can set this aside. Actually, you can just leave that up here. And we're going to get to the next step of this pudding. Just move our blender over there. And we have our next ingredients here. Okay, so what you want to do now is you want to take a loaf of bread and you basically want to tear it up. You can use a knife or your hands. Some people like to remove the crust. We like to leave the crust in because we don't want to waste. What kind of bread do you think we should be using for our bread pudding, Jess?
Definitely whole grain.
And why would a whole grain bread be a better choice?
Because it's got more fiber and nutrients than white bread.
That's right. This particular bread that we have happens to be a bread that has ancient grains, so it's got kamut and spelt and oats and rye. So that's the choice that we've used, but we'll leave it up to you, Power Girl, to choose a healthy whole grain bread for yourself. Okay, so Jess, I'm going to help you out here. This part's really fun. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your bread and you're going to tear it into pieces, and they can be big pieces, doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you separate your bread. Another thing too to keep in mind for this recipe is the staler your bread, the better. So if you have some bread that's actually going a bit stale, perfect, time to make bread pudding. This bread here is not as stale as I would like, but that's okay, it'll still taste great. Fun, eh?
Yeah.
This is like having dessert for breakfast. This recipe, because of the eggs, is so high in protein. We've got our healthy fats. Very soon we're going to be adding some other really healthy ingredients. Thank you, Jess. I'm sure your mouth is watering too. Okay. We've got our entire loaf of bread all ready to go. Okay.
There we go.
Might take a little while to do this, but it's actually very, very easy. Okay, Jessy, right now, can you grab the fruit that we have?
Yep.
We chose strawberries and mangoes. And how much do you have there, Jessy?
1 cup.
1 cup. Okay, you can just add that in. Perfect. And we have a cup of mangoes. And again, your preference as to what you might want to add as your fruit choice. This is where we're getting our sweetness from. Perfect. Okay. Now, Jess, you can give that a quick toss. Just use your hands and toss that up. Just mix it well. And what I'm going to be doing while you're tossing that, I have some sea salt here, and we're just going to be putting a pinch in. Maybe 2 pinches. There we go. And we have some nutmeg to give it a nice little spice. Again, we're going to put some few pinches of nutmeg. Okay. I happen to really like cinnamon, and cinnamon is a natural thermogen, and what that means is this ingredient here actually helps get your metabolism burning hotter. So don't be afraid to use cinnamon whenever you cook or bake. It's great, it's healthy for you, and it gets that metabolism burning hotter. And because of that, I think I'm just going to add all of this in. There we go, Jess. Toss it up. Oh, lost a piece of bread there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add our wet ingredients, and I can do that for you, Jess. I'll add this in. Okay.
You gonna mix it?
And now this will be a little bit warm, so we don't want to mix it with our hands. And Jessy, do you mind adding the egg mixture?
Yep.
Super. Just going to stir that up a bit. So you can see that this is, let's put this down here. You can see that there's a lot of moisture in here. And again, if you have stale bread, you're going to find that it's going to take a while for the liquid to penetrate your stale bread. Our bread, again, was a little bit on the fresh side, so there we go. Now what we're going to do is add this mixture to a casserole dish that we have already prepared. And what that means is that we have taken a tiny bit, you can use butter or coconut oil, and just spread a thin coating so that your bread pudding doesn't stick. Okay, and what we'll do, just make it easier, just pick this up. You can hold that for me, Jess, that's great help. And then just spread it out. Very simple, and this is going to taste so delicious. Another thing that you can do is you can add some nuts to this as well. You can put some slivered almonds on here or whatever type of nut that you want. Okay, looks great to me. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks
I can't wait to eat this. Now, one thing I can tell you, as I said, if you prepare this at night, put it in the refrigerator and pop it in the oven in the morning. You do want to make sure that you at least let this recipe sit for around an hour. Okay, so after it sits for at least an hour, you can put it in the oven and start baking it up. It just smells so good already. I can't wait to give this a taste. Okay, so our bread pudding has sat for at least an hour, and so we're ready to put it in the oven. The oven has been set for 350, and another thing, you'll notice that I have a pan of water here, and that's just to help keep this recipe moist because it is a pudding. Jess, I'm going to take this and put it in. If you have put this in the refrigerator overnight, let it come down to room temperature before you put it in the fridge, or pardon me, before you put it in the oven. Okay, so I'm going to set the timer now for, I'd say about 35 minutes. Everyone's stove is different, so you may find that you need to put it in perhaps for a little bit longer. I happen to know that my oven, it's about 35 minutes, and we'll show you at the end what you're looking for in your result. This recipe is going to make about 10 one-cup servings, and that's also really important. It's such a delicious recipe that I don't really think it's a good idea, Power Girl, to have more than a cup as a serving, so keep that in mind if it's going to be as a meal. If it's going to be as a snack, then maybe you should be having about half a cup as a serving. Okay, can't wait to see how it turns out. Okay, the bread pudding's ready. Let's have a look and see. Okay, you can tell that the bread pudding is ready because it has set. So that's the first thing. And the next thing, it's golden. So perfect, done. We're going to get to enjoy it soon. So again, keep in mind that for this recipe, you want to use about 1 cup as a portion. So there are about 10 portions in this tray. So keep it to about 1/10 of the tray. And the other thing too, because we didn't add a lot of sweetener, you may find that you want to add a teaspoon of something to sweeten it up. And again, I would suggest something like agave. And if you'd like to, you can also use maybe a teaspoon of maple syrup or a teaspoon of honey, maybe nothing at all. or you can even use a little bit of applesauce to give it a little bit more sweetness.
This serving is about 1/10 of the whole pudding. And
let's give it a taste.
Yeah.
I want to taste some of this. Looks so yummy, smells so good. I love the way this tastes. I personally don't need to add any extra sweetener. What do you think, Jess?
I think it tastes great with fruit. If you enjoyed this video and want other Body Smart meal plans for snacks, lunches, and dinners, go to my website at Power Girl Fitness and click Get Meal Plans. If you follow all of my Body Smart meal plans and do my workouts, after 90 days you will look and feel great and enjoy your new body, guaranteed. If you're new to Power Girl Fitness, check out my website at powergirlfitness.com or my Power Girl Fitness YouTube channel to get access to all my fitness and nutrition videos. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget to be my friend Jessy Lipke on Facebook and Twitter so we can stay in touch between workouts. So until next time, this is Jessy Lipke helping you make better choices for a better body and a better life.
But to make your soup, what is the saying? So to make your body,
I told you.
Okay.
A little healthy Power Girl time.
I'm getting hungry.
What's on the menu today, Rita? To help you start your day right.